What's going on, everyone? I'm the Intel, and today Ubisoft have revealed tons of news about the future of Assassin's Creed. So today let's talk about it, and I'm going to give my thoughts on it, as there's a lot to talk about and a lot to give my thoughts on. So let's just jump right in, there's no time to waste, we've got lots to talk about. Let's first talk about Assassin's Creed Mirage. Well, I don't know what to think. Ubisoft, the cinematic trailer, the CGI trailer looked really good. I was pretty impressed because it looks exactly like an old Assassin's Creed game. It looks nothing like Valhalla, Odyssey, or Origins. So I'm quite excited. But there was no gameplay. No gameplay at all, but as you can see on the screen now, there is a couple gameplay screenshots that have been found from the pre-order pages, so there is a little bit of gameplay screenshots, but from the sounds of it, we'll be getting gameplay next year, which is pretty disappointing if you ask me. I thought we were going to get the CGI trailer and some gameplay. But unfortunately we didn't. We also got the price point for the game, which might just tell you exactly how long this game's going to be. As in the UK, the game is roughly £45. I think it's about $50 for the standard edition of the game. £45 is low, because usually games here in the UK are either priced at £60 or £70. So £45 tells me that this game's going to be shorter, I think. I think this game's going to be much shorter than Valhalla, maybe even Unity and Syndicate. They've probably reduced the price of the game because there's not as much content as the other Assassin's Creed games. On the Ubisoft website, we can see the standard edition, comes with just Assassin's Creed Mirage. There's then the deluxe pack, which comes with Prince of Persia inspired outfit, eagle, mount, and weapons. You can see it in the collector's picture here. It looks weird, but I guess we're getting some of that mythology kind of weird cosmetics you can get in the store, so I assume the base game might be pretty Assassins related, but if you go to the store, you're probably going to see a lot of these wacky mythological stuff. I'm okay with this because if you don't buy it, you'll never see it in your game, so not a big deal. And that's it for the deluxe edition. There's like a soundtrack and an art book, but that's not a thing. And there's a collector's edition, which actually looks really, really cool, that collector's edition. I might actually buy that because I like that, but I'd like to see some gameplay first before I go buy that. But surprisingly, there is no season pass. I reported on in my Assassin's Creed Mirage initial video that a leak came out, which seems to be mostly accurate. That leak seems almost real. It got almost everything right from what we've seen from this trailer and what they've talked about. But one thing they said was the Assassin's Creed 1 was getting a remake or a remaster, and it was going to be part of the Season Pass, and the Season Pass was also going to have us going to Constantinople in the Season Pass. But on Ubisoft's website, the Deluxe Edition has no Season Pass. So I think that leak got that wrong, because there's no Season Pass for you to purchase or buy a Gold Edition or anything. There is only a Deluxe version, which just gives you the Prince of Persia stuff. So it seems there's going to be no Season Pass for Mirage. Not to say there's going to be no DLC, or there's going to be no paid expansions or Assassin's Creed 1 remake. That might still happen, but it's not going to be part of Mirage from the looks of it. So also that got revealed, the next thing was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the final chapter. The final chapter of Valhalla, they're going to finally end off the story that's coming this year. My guess is around November time for the 2-year anniversary of Valhalla. I imagine maybe for the 2nd anniversary they'll launch the final chapter and end the game for once and for all. It looks alright. It looks like it's mostly going to be set in England, but it does look like maybe from what the dialogue shows in the trailer that we might potentially go to a new area, but my guess is we'll just be staying in England, and we'll finally find out why Eivor's body was in America and not England. Modern day and England stuff, so I'm excited for this to finally end off the Valhalla story. But let's move on to the big stuff, the big stuff. And that is what's coming in the future. So there's no release dates here, but I've got a couple guesses. I've got a couple guesses of when I think some of this content's going to release. So the first thing, let's talk about Assassin's Creed Infinity, which they did confirm and reveal that Assassin's Creed Infinity will have standalone multiplayer experiences. Now the key word there is standalone. The upcoming games and Mirage are not going to have multiplayer from the sounds of it. They're going to be fully single player. But they did say standalone multiplayer experiences. So we might get some free to play or standalone like £20, $20 game that just has multiplayer. Suggesting that it might be the multiplayer like Assassin's Creed 3 or Assassin's Creed 4 or Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood. Like where, you got one team of hunters and one team of targets. Something like that. I like the mode, it was okay, but it does sound like we might get something like that, or maybe we'll get something like Unity, where maybe you have to do missions together, like 4-player co-op. It does sound, they say multiplayer experiences, suggesting there's going to be multiple multiplayer things. Honestly, I think this is the best way. Co-op could have been cool, but I think this is the best way to handle it, because, let's be real, imagine having co-op in Valhalla. it just wouldn't work at all, to be honest. So let's all start about Infinity. Assassin's Creed Infinity kind of just sounds like a launcher to me. They basically say it's kind of like your own Animus. You can go in it and then you can like choose which game to go to, Assassin's Creed Red or Assassin's Creed Hexe, which we'll come to in a minute. Don't worry, we'll come to those two in a minute. It just kind of sounds like a launcher. It just sounds like you open that to open another game. From when they initially revealed it, it kind of sounded to me like I would be able to play Red and then open up my main menu and then swap to Hexe, like swap to another game, swap to a completely different setting and time. And there maybe be some progression in between that in like a modern day or something, but to me this just sounds like Halo the Master Chief Collection but with an Assassin's Creed skin on it. I hope they clear that up a little because I'm a little confused on what it actually is. But let's move on to the two big ones, which is Assassin's Creed Red and Hexe. So Red, let's start with that one. Assassin's Creed Red is set in Japan, in feudal Japan. It seems we play like a ninja or a shinobi. It seems really cool from the little like CGI trailer we got. Seems it's going to be an open world RPG, probably similar to Odyssey, as it is being created by Ubisoft Quebec, the same people who made Assassin's Creed Odyssey are creating Assassin's Creed Red. So expect the game to share some similarities with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but we already know there's a hidden blade, and it does seem like we'll probably be playing as an assassin. So it's not going to be exactly like Odyssey, but I'm excited for this one. I think Japan's something we've always wanted in the series, and I'm quite excited to see it. Now, if I had to give a guess on when I think this game's going to come out, because there was no release date for this one, my guess is, so let's recap what we know. 2022 we'll have Valhalla the Lost Chapter, 2023 we'll have Mirage, so 2024 for Red? I don't think so. I think Assassin's Creed Red could launch in 2024, but my guess is 2025. Yeah, see, I think it's going to be about 3 years away. I think in 2025 we'll probably get Assassin's Creed Red, which will launch also with Assassin's Creed Infinity. And I think that will probably have maybe 1 or even 2 years of post-launch and season passes. And then in 2025, 2026, I know quite a long way away, we'll get the launch of Assassin's Creed Hexe. And Hexe is set in like the witch hunt era during Europe, so that definitely might be very different for the series. Because they didn't describe it as an RPG, they described it as a completely different and new experience in the Assassin's Creed franchise. So this might not be an RPG or open world at all. I kind of wonder, are they going to really take a massive risk here and maybe make it like a horror game or something? Like, I don't know. It just because they say it's a completely different thing they've never done before. So I'm like, maybe it's something we've never ever seen, like a horror game or something. I doubt they'll go that far, but I'm just really interested. Like, what could Hexe be that is so different? My guess is it's definitely not an RPG. I think Assassin's Creed Red might be the last of the RPG games for a little bit. But yeah, I think Hexe will likely launch in 2026, maybe 2027, which might sound far away because that's likely around when we're going to get the launch of the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox. Yeah, that's kind of weird when you think about it, that they've just revealed a game that is an entire console generation away. Like, because these games are potentially up to 4 or 5 years away, so like PlayStation 6 territory. That's like scary because it's like, wow. Like Hexe might be an exclusive to the next generation of consoles, like the next generation, which is wild. But I'm excited for these games. They sound cool, but my only complaint is, well, we didn't really get any gameplay, and I kind of hoped for some gameplay of Mirage at least, but we didn't get that at all. Well, I'm excited for these games. These games look fun. They have incredible sounding ideas and settings. But I also forgot to mention there is a mobile game coming, Assassin's Creed Jade. This is an open-world mobile game set in China. Very excited for this one, actually, because it sounds amazing. I kind of wish this was a console game or something, just because I think a Chinese Assassin's Creed, like open world, could be really cool. So maybe they'll make a console port. But I will definitely check it out, because I think that could be really fun. But anyway, that's all the news on Assassin's Creed. There is tons to decipher here. There is so much that has just got revealed, and I'm excited for it, but I am also kind of like, there's not a lot coming right now. I think until 2024, we're not going to have a whole lot of content in this franchise. Maybe even 2025, because again, we don't know how far Red and Hexe are along, because they gave no estimates on the release dates. Mirage might be our last game for a year, maybe a year or two. Like, it might be a while, so I hope Mirage is good, I really do, because it seems like we're going to be waiting a while for the next game. But that's probably a good thing, to give the team as much time as possible to create maybe some of the best games in the series. But anyway, I've been the Intel, and have a lovely day.